incredibly proud to have him with us. This moment is made even more special by the support of his family, who have been with him every step of the way. Holding the Bible today is Matthew's mother, Susan. He is also joined by his father, Kevin, who will pin the badge on his son, a symbol of hard work, dedication Matthew has shown to begin his career and responsibility he will carry moving forward. Matthew, we are proud to have you here with us, not only as a member of the Absecon Police Department, but as someone who has a deep personal connection to the community. We know you will continue to serve with honor, integrity, and professionalism. Let us all join together welcoming Matthew Munn to the Absecon Police Department family.
Mayor Morrow, will you do the swearing in?
Mom, Bible. Bring your right hand in the air. Throw the Bible. This is a long paragraph. I'm just going to read it all the way through. Can you remember it all?
No.
I, Matthew Munn,
I, Matthew Munn,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
and perform all the duties of
Patrol Officer of the Absecon Police Department,
Patrol Officer of the Absecon Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I further solemnly swear
I further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
There we go. Old school, I like it.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, to the family and friends that are here, we're now going into the boring stuff, so you are more than welcome to leave if you'd like. I don't want to drag. Yeah, of course, yeah, if it would make it easier for you folks.
Thank you.
Give them a second to get out of here.
Congratulations.
Alex, you need that Paw Patrol outfit.
That's exactly what I want. Check out.
Donato would
Well,
love
we
it.
came through, but he messed up 5 minutes.
My son would have nothing to do with it. My daughter
Yeah, come
watched
from
every
school for
movie in the
progress.
last 5 days.
Sunday loves
Tell him sit next to Harry.
He like dances to it. It's
All right.
Was he punished for something? Oh, I made fun of him in front of his son. I feel bad now.
All right, first and foremost, the sweatshirt. Ladies Absecon 7th and 8th grade girls are playing in the playoffs tonight in March Madness. Wish Councilman Clark's daughter best of luck tonight. And of course, I have a lot of Lady Panther pride. So we'll move into the regular agenda meeting. Do I hear, well, before I introduce this, Councilman Clark, you give a quick sentence on what we're adding to the agenda right now? That was not on the original agenda.
So we're adding a resolution for the City of Absecon authorizing the establishment of a new bank account for the Housing Trust Fund. So we should have had a Housing Trust Fund open for a few years, and unfortunately, this kind of fell by the wayside, and we were not on top of it. So with some of the new things going through and some of the new ordinances going through in the state and to get into our compliant, we need to have the Housing Trust Fund opened.
Thank you. May I hear a motion to add Resolution 77-2025 authorizing the establishment of a new bank account for Housing Trust Fund?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a roll call? Okay.
Remember to read it before. You're just gonna remember to read it before.
Oh, because we're at
You're
what?
basically adding it to consent agenda.
Okay,
So then you just read it here again and then vote here.
okay. I still don't understand that, but moving on to the consent agenda.
Just to add it to the agenda, not to vote on it.
Oh, it's just adding it to the agenda. Okay, so I'm adding it to the consent agenda? Okay.
I mean, unless there's someone
Yeah,
that
no.
wants it separate.
I'll add it to consent agenda. I'm removing item number 74 from the consent agenda, and I will be adding item 77. So, just so everybody's clear, removing 74, adding 77. Consent agenda. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be discussed separately. 72, authorizing the City of Absecon to award a contract for Crestview Avenue pedestrian safety improvements, Phase 2. 73, authorizing the release of escrow funds posted by Premier Outdoor Media, 445 Absecon Boulevard, Block 225, Lot 1. 75, authorizing to prorate, cancel, and refund first quarter taxes of 2025 on the property located at 141 East Faunce Landing Road, Block 164, Lot 8.01. 77, authorizing the establishment of a new bank account for Housing Trust. Do I hear a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Would anybody from the public like to speak on agenda items? Name and address, please.
Greg Sayer, 625 Yarmouth Avenue. Can you explain what the Housing Trust Bank is exactly?
So high level, or do you want to?
Well, I mean, you want
Go ahead. I can tell you generally, typically with municipalities, so you set it up, typically there's developer fees, things like that, that throughout the course of the year, whenever new construction occurs, get paid into affordable housing funds. They'll sit in that account, and those funds can be used to pay for professionals that that the city's utilizing for meeting their obligations under the Mount Laurel Doctrine, other affordable housing obligations. So really, it's funds where that developer fees go to and then get paid out to professionals and/or development of affordable housing in the city that the municipality oversees.
And unfortunately, Absecon has not been operating with one.
And those checks that these companies are paying and businesses that are coming to town are going to the state, in which case we miss out on the opportunity to use that funding to pay professionals and, as he said,
Yeah, and we
That's a problem.
just learned this. That's why I added it tonight.
last minute, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell your buyer, please.
Anybody else from the public like to speak? Young man in the corner. Do I hear a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? May I hear a motion to move the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Clark?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Martindale?
Yes.
Knight?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Sykes?
Yes.
DeRose?
Yes. Approval of the bill list, $333,210. May I hear a motion to accept the bill list?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Clark?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Martindale?
Yes.
Knight?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Sykes?
Yes.
DeRose?
Yes. Excuse me. Approval of the minutes, budget meeting minutes, 2/13/25. May I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Clark?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Martindale?
Abstain.
Knight?
Abstain.
Parker?
Yes.
Sykes?
Yes.
DeRose?
Yes. All right, council reports. We'll start with Councilman Light on the M.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met on Monday the 3rd. Some of the items that we spoke of were laying out the road project for this coming year. So we were looking at our priority list. We haven't picked anything out per se. We're just going over priorities and seeing how that we best can suit our residents and spend the allotment of money for this coming year. Our next meeting is on April 7th at 5 o'clock here at City Hall. The public's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Clark.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Finance has not met since the last council meeting, but in the meantime, we are working on budgets, and we are trying to fill some of the holes in our budget, and budget meeting will be next Thursday at 5:30.
Yes, and Carrie, that's the official, let's get the ball rolling.
I didn't know if you got it. I never saw it.
No, we decided just now. Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Evans?
Yes, we had our second Absecon Community Affairs meeting this evening, right before the council meeting. We went over a lot of information. Most recently, the Absecon Veterinarian Hospital had a free parvo clinic, and they reported on that. They actually had 25 dogs that came in, and it was a big success. The Absecon Green Team is still active, and their next event is to be announced. We talked about the Easter egg hunt that we have done in the past here in the city. We might move the location this year, but we're still trying to pick a date and what area would be the best for that. We talked about our Earth Day celebration, which will be April 14th. That'll be the shredding and a cleanup day here in Absecon. You can bring your electronics too. That'll be from 9 a.m. until 12 is the shredding and the cleanup, but the electronics have to be here by 11 because we like to move them to the 4-H club before noon. We also talked about our senior brunch. That'll be, our tentative date right now is May 3rd. We're working with two great sponsors this year, Diane Conover for Royal Suites and Donna Larantunda at the Spring Village, are very much involved in our senior brunch, and we thank them very much for their participation. We went over the Memorial Day Parade that'll be coming up, and we also talked about a couple additional things that might be out there.
Excellent, thank you so much. Councilwoman Parker.
We met Public Safety met this past Monday. All three of our chiefs were in attendance, and along with Alex, Steve, the mayor, and I. The chief is getting great reviews on the young men that are in the academy right now, and most excitingly tonight is the swearing in of Matthew Munn. We also talked about how happy the residents are with the police presence in some speeding zones that they were calling in about, and a stop sign that a resident was calling in about. So they're very happy with how quickly the police have responded to those areas. Chief Talley is reminding everybody when we turn our clocks forward this weekend to check your smoke and CO detectors, change the batteries, but also check that they are in working order. And he also encourages everybody who is using fireplaces this winter during the cold months to dispose of your ashes properly to prevent fires. Our next meeting will be on April 7th at 6 p.m. And Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, one of the things I want to touch upon is the car thefts are ramping up again. If you need a steering wheel lock, we still have some here at the police station. I encourage you to get one. Reminder to please don't leave any valuable belongings in your car overnight. Exterior lighting is a great idea. See something, say something. You hear me say this so many times throughout the year. If you see something that you feel as though is not or out of place and not normal, please call us. We would rather come out and say hello to you and have a nice chat and make sure that everybody's safe. Along with the car thefts, I remind you, with the newer vehicles in some of the municipalities, even in the garages, people are leaving their key fobs in the cars. And the perpetrators are making their way into the garages, or you leave the garage open and they can drive away with your vehicle if you leave the key fob in it, because it's just a push button with some of these newer vehicles. Calls for service for the month of February, 4,221, 401 motor vehicle stops, 26 motor vehicle crashes, 49 arrests. We had 3 burglaries, 13 shopliftings and thefts, 18 domestic violence calls, approximately 270 community policing calls, 699 directed patrols, and 6 DWIs.
That also reminds me that in the meeting, I asked the police if they could provide on the social media a report from each month, like the chief just reported here, with the number of events in town for the month, and today it was posted on Facebook, so thank you for that.
No problem.
And that's a slow month, right, Chief? February is a slow month, you know.
Well, it's a 28-day month, so,
My point.
one of the other things I want to remind you, daylight savings time. So our children are going to be out playing a little later in the evenings, as well as our residents out walking, out riding, enjoying the parks. We've already seen an influx of people enjoying our parks with the warm-up we had of 60 degrees last week. That was like a heat wave, right? After all this cold we've had. We're going to continue to see that, obviously, with the nice weather and things like that. I plead with everyone, tragedies can be avoided if we take a few extra minutes of our time to get from point A to point B. And so distracted driving and things like that with the cell phones, we're going to be working with the state grants in April and in May with distracted driving and click it or ticket. So I'm forewarning everyone that this is an ongoing problem throughout the state and probably throughout the nation. I had the opportunity to go to the national conference in Boston this year, and every police agency in the country is dealing with the same thing with speeding. Unfortunately, the talk of law enforcement agencies and across the country and across the world is violent crime. The number of violent crime, the number of murders and things like that. Unfortunately, we don't talk about fatal accidents and things like that. And the fatal accidents are actually higher than the violent crime, but we kind of don't really talk about those things. So most of these things can be avoided just by slowing down, obviously using Uber or calling a friend when you're intoxicated, their cell phone usage, things like that. So, the county, I've been in contact with the county. We're going to be doing, because Atlantic County had so many fatal accidents last year, we're going to be working together with all the other agencies in the county and developing a task force to try to get people to slow down, probably based off of some of the things we did on Route 30 last year with the, the state funds and all that stuff. I think it was successful here, and it certainly will be successful in other areas. So, please slow down. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Anything else, Councilwoman?
No, that's it for me.
Councilman Sykes?
Just to go back, we haven't met yet this month. We're going to be meeting on March 18th. It's going to be third Tuesday. Just to go over a few things from last meeting, we did pick those 10 bands. They're ready for the summer. We have the dates as well. They've all been solidified. So we're looking forward to that. Going to have a really nice time in the park this year. Just a reminder also, I know we have March Madness going on, but we also have the boys start on March 8th at the Atlees Gym. So obviously, we hope that everybody can come out and support them as well, just like we did with the ladies. And I'm still doing a follow-up on the mulch and depth in the playgrounds just to make sure that those are safe. Obviously, again, what we're talking about with the nicer weather coming up, I'm sure the next meeting is going to involve some things with ASAC, with the lacrosse, baseball, soccer. Everything's going to start upticking around the area. So, a lot more traffic on the fields and things like that. So we're going to make sure that we meet with them and everything's ready to go.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman La Rotunda?
For economic development, obviously, we see a lot of progress being made at Jersey Cal and Aldi, so that's exciting news. Our next meeting will be March 20th here at 5 p.m.
Thank you very much. All I have is Go Absecon Lady Panthers. Mayor?
Just take a quick second to congratulate Matthew Munn and the Munn family. It's very, very exciting, as the chief had pointed out, that, born and raised Absecon, I want to call him a kid, but he's a man now. He's carrying a gun, he's a cop. So it's nice to see this kind of commitment and loyalty. And I think it's worth saying, too, that Matthew comes, his father is, I believe, a battalion chief of Atlantic City Fire Department. So public safety is in their blood. And as I'm talking about public safety, I do want to thank the chief for this report. I think it's very eye-opening to the citizens of this town of how busy we are, how busy our police department is, and the men and women in our department are doing a really, really great job. And then I would like to take a second to thank everybody who works in this building on the city side. Everyone's been doing a bang-up job. It's been a little bit of some shuffling, kind of a skeleton crew until we can really understand where our budget stands. Carrie, thank you. You've been doing a great job for us. And our every office is just running as efficiently as we can as we look forward to making a plan and sticking to it. 5-year, 5, 7, 10?
3, 5, 7.
3, 5, 7.
I like 5, 7, 10.
Nope.
Have a good night, thanks.
Thank you. And our tardy engineer,
What I didn't get here, fine.
He's been here the whole time.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I was afraid I was going to be publicly shamed. Next time I'm going to bring a note from Mayor Collins and Margaret.
I will be calling the mayor tonight.
Thank you.
Absecon comes first,
I know.
emphatically and
You're
in your
right.
heart.
I apologize. I deserve it. All right, I just have a few updates. We awarded Phase 2 of the Crestview Avenue project. Just to give a brief explanation of what that is, obviously, we did the new sidewalk on Crestview Avenue last year. This would be to connect that new sidewalk with kind of a cut-through on the dirt path that's already kind of existing, that kind of cuts behind the playground and then ties into the walking path at Pitney Park. So they always say that, when you're planning where to put a path, just look at where the dirt is, and that's where people will walk. So I think this makes sense, and it'll kind of really just kind of stitch that whole area together. So the other good thing is, I don't know if it got mentioned because I was late, but the bids for that project came in well under budget, which is great. So it's going to be entirely funded through a grant, and we have even a little bit to work with there. So that's also really good news. The first phase of Crestview Avenue obviously is complete, but there's a little bit of punch list work. So you may have seen the contractor out there over the last couple weeks just doing some final cleanup of punch list work. That should be wrapping up soon. Likewise on Calderon Avenue, which was recently paved, they'll be out there next week to do the final striping, and then we can close that project out. So just a lot of kind of cleanup work as we get ready for the new construction season. Same thing on the streetscape. You may see some contractors out on New Jersey Avenue just working on some final punch list items so we can get that project buttoned up. And then we'll kind of pivot to our upcoming construction project. So we have a road program that was awarded late last year, then we kind of hit the winter shutdown. That contractor will be starting work sometime in April. Once we get closer, I'll let everybody know where they're starting. The Meadowview Avenue Sewer Rehab Project will actually be starting on Tuesday. And just for everyone to be aware, that will be night work. For two reasons. One, we had to get a highway occupancy permit because they will be working out in Route 9 because part of our sewer actually goes out into the state highway. So the main reason they'll be working at night is because the DOT told them they had to, they being the contractor. And the other reason is because we will be rehabbing this sewer pipe. They want to do it when it's a low flow situation at nighttime, when there's not as much sewer traffic.
How loud of an impact will it be on the residents?
It shouldn't be too bad, but obviously if anyone feels otherwise, they should contact us, contact the city, and we'll work with the contractor.
I'd like to put that on the website.
Yeah, I think that's why I mentioned it.
Okay.
And by the way, all the residents on that street will be notified with door hangers, things like that.
Perfect.
We did receive our final list of comments on the Shore Road project from the county last week. The mayor's been real helpful and kind of helping to push that along. So we're very optimistic that with this being the last call on final comments here, that we can address those comments, get it back to the county, and be in a position to finally put this project out to bid and have a schedule for construction. So that's a major milestone. And then I did just want to follow up. There was some discussion at the last meeting with a member of the public about the driveway at McDonald's. After that meeting, we did reach out to the NJ. The NJDOT does have jurisdiction over that intersection, and believe it or not, they got back to us the next day. Kind of gave us a little bit of direction on like a next step, a little bit of a dangling of a carrot. They didn't give us the whole what we were asking for, but it seems like they want to play ball, so to speak. So we'll take that next step and see where it goes, and I'll keep everybody updated.
Urging.
Gentleman in the back row, did you hear that?
Oh, you got all that already.
There you go.
Ed,
Yes.
as I was thanking everyone around. I would like to thank you and your office for stepping in and moving forward with the Shore Road issue. I'm sure the chief and the fire department are going to be happy to not have to go out there and shut that road down and pull people out of the water anymore.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
let's raise that road.
Got it. Good t-shirts.
Let's hear it, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody on three. Raise the road.
Thank you, Ed, much appreciated. Please don't make me.
What about
bad.
crowd?
May I hear a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You forgot to vote no for the minute.
Will anybody from the public like to speak?
You forgot to vote no for the
Come on up, sir. Name and address, please.
Harry Martin, 632 Woodland Avenue. Just a couple quick questions. I know in the closed session, there's apparently discussion of land sale.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that they're going to tell me you can't say what it is or any of that.
Take the words out of my
But
mouth.
is there going to be action taken on it tonight?
So we'll advise at the beginning of closed session that action may be taken. So you have the opportunity, we can't take any action until we reopen to the public. So we will close, and then when we reopen to the public, if there's any action taken, it'll be done at that time. But I don't think we can, at this point, definitively say yes or no.
If I want to know if there's going to be a vote, or if I want to be here for the vote, I have to sit out there until you guys come tell me.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. And this is something I've noticed over the years, and now I'm a veteran myself, but there's a lot of veterans exemptions coming down. Now, those veterans exemptions, am I right in assuming that those people no longer pay taxes on their property?
You're correct.
Do we have any indication as to how many of those we have?
I asked for a report for that. I will have that for the next,
We can get you.
next meeting.
It's
I asked,
significant impact.
it's very difficult.
Seems like every meeting, there's more people out.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Hartman.
It's budget one way or the other, but
I agree.
it's an impact.
100%. Trust me.
I agree 100%, and that's why we're trying to get a report on, because it's very difficult to plan for, because you're losing taxable revenue, and makes it hard to plan.
One other thing, just out of curiosity, Ed, you might be able to help me with this one. City engineer, city planner, what's the difference? What do they do differently?
Well, first of all, there are two different licenses. So there's a licensed professional engineer, a licensed professional planner. I happen to be both.
Humble brag.
Yeah. So an engineer.
I understand, I think, what the city engineer does.
Yeah, so by trade, I think,
The city
so a city
planner.
planner would deal with things like zoning, redevelopment, land use,
Don't the
ordinances.
planning board and the zoning?
So the planning board the planning board has their own planner and their own engineer that deals with the specific applications and matters that are brought to the planning board. There are planning issues that this governing body needs to deal with, like zoning. This governing body sets the zoning for the city, not the planning board. The planning board can make recommendations, but this governing body has its own professionals to advise them on those types of decisions.
Where's the city planner come in?
The city planner doesn't
These guys?
typically attend council meetings unless it's the same person, just in my
The only
experience.
reason I saw the billing for the city planner, it's a different engineer, or it's a different engineering firm, put it that way.
I can't speak to their billing, although they could certainly be performing work and not attending meetings, so. right.
It was like $250 was incidental, but.
Sure.
That's for going through affordable housing right now.
Correct.
Yes,
Affordable
Mr. Hartman,
housing is what they were working on.
Mr. Hartman, I'm 95% certain that billing was the initiation of the first few meetings of preparing for our third round of affordable housing.
Fourth.
And we
Fourth
have,
round of affordable housing. So that's what the city planner is working on for us right now.
And it's things like that, just to my early, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well,
We have an attorney on,
but attorneys and engineers are doing different
On
things.
retention.
Yeah, but they have to do different things. One's doing the engineering side of it.
I was just trying to figure out the city planner thing.
Oh, okay.
Because, were you not city planner last year?
Yes,
Okay, so you were both?
yes.
Okay. That's what I didn't understand.
And you got paid separately.
Yeah, there were,
Sure.
we didn't have to do the affordable housing last year. So Ed doesn't really want to do the affordable housing. So it's
Because, I mean, we're squeezing budgets.
we could answer that a little better.
You got a hefty amount of your money is going to the professionals. And then, understandably, they have a skill that has to be had. But I'm just curious as to
To my earlier
where and
point,
there, who we can look and get a dual something where we could save some money.
But if it was dual, they're still charging when they're doing city planner stuff and when they're doing city engineer stuff.
You're agreeing to a rate, correct, if I'm wrong,
Separate one then.
your billing rate.
Well, there's something,
It was a decision made this year
correct.
to hire.
Because we're moving into affordable housing and we brought in somebody that specializes in affordable housing.
And there's a big report that has to be done, and I mean, we actually have a construction official who can probably step up and tell you more if you want.
Affordable housing.
In developing plans for that, we have obligations that the city's got obligations that we're going to have to meet under this under the round 4 obligations.
I don't know, we didn't even have a trust.
We had a separate.
It kind of goes in cycles, and just to be clear, I kind of understand the point you're getting at. We weren't doing city planner services for free, so if we had to do city planner services, we would have billed for that, and it wasn't like a throw-in with the engineering, right? So I just want to make that clear, to be transparent about it, right?
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's it.
And to let you know, to the point I made earlier.
What caught my attention was I see Palestina.
Oh.
And,
Well, it's not him that's doing the work.
well, I know it's not him, it's his firm, but I was just curious as to why we had switched over.
But I can.
Anybody know what?
Yeah, we know why.
Why?
Because she specializes in this. The lady that works for Vince specializes in affordable housing. That's why we went and got her, because we have to do this report this year. And quite frankly, our city engineer is busier doing other stuff, and I don't speak for him, but we spoke about it, and it made more sense to let somebody do this other report that he didn't want to actually, he would have to charge us for it either way. It didn't matter, and it's not where it was best use of his time for us, for the city of Absecon.
And I also appreciated she's a former resident of Absecon and knows Absecon. I thought that was very.
Former resident of Absecon.
The planner,
Woman representing
city
us, Jennifer Heller.
planner, the city planner.
So, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but.
I think it's amazing that she knows the city.
You're hiring, giving preference to former residents?
Guys,
Yeah, no, I said it was a great addition that she's a former resident.
Okay, one other thing. You had talked about putting the
The report on social media?
services that the police respond to
Right.
on Facebook?
Correct.
It's on what page?
It's on the Absecon Police Department's page. They posted it earlier today.
Okay, and that's broken down pretty detailed? Or
I'm
not talking about incidents.
I took a screenshot of it, so I can.
Because I mean, like 4,000 is a lot, I understand that.
So the screenshot I took today, it's motor vehicle stops, motor vehicle crashes, arrests, domestic violence, shoplifting, burglaries, stolen vehicles, DWI arrest, community policing, and directed patrols, broken down.
So those all 4,000 are dispatched police response. They're not safety or fire department, fire.
Well,
like
they're
that.
dispatched, they're proactive. We respond to fires, we respond to medical calls, we respond to various different things, suspicious complaints. I mean, we can make it a mile long.
Let me just bring this up now, because we're getting into a lot of back and forth Q&A. So I know you've probably heard this before from other attorneys, but I'll tell it to you now. It's the public comment section. Sir, you're able to ask anything that you want to or make statements on anything that you want to from the podium right there in your position. The governing body does not need to respond to each and every inquiry that you have. You can if you guys feel comfortable with doing it, but don't feel an obligation to go back and forth and make this a question and answer session. Because we're getting into a lot of tit for tat, we're talking over each other. Ask the questions that you have, make the comments that you'd like to make, but don't feel obligated to respond to everything.
Have we answered everything? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I guess, but do you guys agree with that? You agree with that concept?
Right.
Don't have to answer anything? See, I've spent a lot of time going to school board meetings where they don't talk to you at all.
Yeah, I was just going to
They
say.
let you talk and then ignore you and walk away.
I was just saying, do I agree with the comment? The comment's the law, and what we're saying is, we are engaging you, we've engaged you every time, because to your exact point, this governing body wants to be able to engage with everybody, so we appreciate your comments. And questions, I mean, not comments, you know what I mean? Thank you, Mr. Hartman. Would anybody else from the public like to speak? What's that?
I said I'll make sure there'll be questions and not.
Oh, no, questions are fine. Anybody else from the public like to speak? Name and address, please.
Greg Sayer, 625 Yarmouth Avenue. Thank you, city engineer, and I know Mr. Clark also for pursuing the Route 30 Mill Road issue. So I've screamed up here many times about it, and I appreciate, it sounds like some progress is being made, so thank you for that. Just a procedural question from the last comments that came up. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you would go into closed session, come out of closed session, and then potentially vote on a land sale?
So anything that's on the agenda to be discussed in closed session, that is confidential and amongst the governing body. But any action to be taken on it would have to be open back to the public before they could do so.
Correct. And so I'm just, to understand it correctly, it will say land sale, no description of what that land sale is. You come out of closed session and then vote on it without anyone, like, I mean, I don't know, you could be selling City Hall and not notice the public.
I'll tell you this now, that wouldn't be possible. So what has to happen is this body's got to resolve to then go out, and we'll get into this, but there's a procedure that has to take effect. There's no land being sold tonight. I can promise you that.
So you come out of land sale, out of this meeting, and you just have some decision made, but the actual sale of land doesn't happen, potentially, but doesn't happen until it's noticed in an actual.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I figured. I just was confused based on the last response. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public like to speak? Do I hear a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Closed session 76-2025, contract negotiations and land sale. And the city attorney publicly states.
Yes, I can do that.
That was my fault.
Pursuant to Section 12B of the Open Public Meetings Act, the governing body has the ability to go into closed session, confidentially make matters can be discussed outside of the purview of the general public. As long as certain exception requirements are met in this matter, or tonight, I should say there's two different matters to be discussed, the firehouse contract and sale of city-owned land, both of which fall under the exception for pending or active contract negotiations and/or litigation.
May I hear a motion to enter into closed session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At this time, everybody from the public, you are welcome to hang out and come back once we reopen. I'm hoping that it is not too long.